because we were talking about taking care of people that don't know how to deal with their feelings and emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were talking about the homelessness and talking about the pain and the mental illness. And I still can't remember where I was going with it, but that's why we got editing.
Yeah. I like it. We'll bounce back on that. I've done that a couple times during the podcast. Yeah, you get to the part where I go, I want to start talking, you don't listen, and then I forgot what I was thinking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everyone tells me I need to get like notes and questions, and there might be something to that. I think it's like practice. Real. It's getting in the situation, getting past the emotional side, because I don't know if you feel it, but when you get in front of a microphone, it does change things. You hear yourself in your headphones, and as exciting, as fun as it is, I don't think as a host, I'm just thinking about the conversation because I'm worried that this is going to record. I'm worried about making sure the microphones are working and the ambiance. So the more I do this, the more I'm like, man, I really need one other person. I don't need a whole production team, but I just need a hand, someone that can dedicate their time to making sure everything's set up, so that way I can focus on
a roadie.
You. I need a roadie. The problem is I'm doing it on the road, so if it was something where I was just sticking around here in town, I'm sure I could find someone. I'm hoping maybe I could potentially get someone to work remotely, so at least I could have someone. But that's the thing, it still doesn't help me setting up or
get one of your girls like on the boom.
Yeah. Come here, hold this microphone for me. Maybe in some years she'd be old enough, but I need to get better at it.
It'll be like yelling at baby Groot. You'll be like, the green button.
Yeah.
No. Which one's the green button?
I've only done maybe 10 or so of these, and I've gone leaps and bounds.
That's like a lot of hours already.
That's 10 to 20 hours.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's good.
I need 9,980 more. And I'll be pretty good at this.
You get like a green star or something?
Yeah. It's 10,000 hours. You become an expert in anything. So I guess I've been talking most of my life, and I've been having conversations. And I'm hard on myself. I've actually done quite a bit of public speaking between, like, I grew up in a church where you're always up in front of people either talking. I've sang and performed on stage, minimal.
Yeah, well, I think also like what I learned in drumming is like just listening to music. I mean, that doesn't qualify as me playing the drums, but it qualifies as me listening and understanding time and trying to be in beat or synchronize with a group, which is a layer of what I do, right? So
it sounds good.
Yeah, so like podcasting and looking at equipment and what they can do and their capabilities. I mean, that's all part of what you're doing, So I think that's part of being a professional. I mean, you can talk really good all day, but if you ain't got the setup and know what sounds good, you're not professional.
Really what it is, and you'll hear this anywhere you go that has motivational speeches, they all say the same thing at the end of the day. It's, if you don't give up, you will succeed. And when I decided to do this, I decided I was going to go all out. I wasn't going to go half measure and just kind of do it on the side, because I know myself. I know I would not do it. I would come up with an excuse because it's hard, and I would quit. And so I'm like, well, I have worked my ass off for the last 20 years of my life. There was a time where I'd work over 100 hours a week driving like fuel trucks and being out it was a sacrifice. I left all my friends and family to live by myself in this cold, dark place called North Dakota.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to, find good friends there, but I had to, it was miserable on some of those nights. But I got to the point where I'm like, either I'm going to invest in the stock market or I'm going to invest in myself. And so I'm taking a leap of faith that I can pick this up. And I really believe that it's just a matter of time. I just have to put episode after episode after episode out, and I'll get a little bit more polished each time. People who happen to start listening at the beginning get to see the progress. I'm going to say some stupid shit and make an ass on myself. Yeah. And I have a lot. I go back and I listen to these and I'm like, Jace, why in the world would you say that? You sound like an idiot. And stories that I've told 1,000 times, I'll stutter and stammer and forget the the specifics of it. I'm like, Jace, like I was talking about Galileo the other day, and I just stuttered the whole time. I'm like, all right, I'm going to chalk that up as a loss. Just move on, and we'll get better next time.
Yeah, just don't keep acknowledging the error, I guess, like I did earlier. You just let it go.
So I think anyone can buy a piece of equipment and hook it up, and there are some parts and pieces of the editing that it's not easy. It's just work. It's boring sitting there listening to a conversation that you've already had, and then you have to listen to it multiple times to get all the different takes and make sure everything sounds good. But with anything, you just have to keep doing it.
Yeah, self-taught straight out of the box, right? Just Googling and learning. I mean, thank God for Google for me, but like the internet's great.
YouTube has been a great tool, and I'm throwing some YouTube videos up. It's not my main thing, because videos is a lot more.
People like visual. I mean, I'm one of those guys. Like, I like listening to the radio. I love the sound of people's voices. I guess you get to not imagine what they look like, but it gets to a point when they start talking about stuff that I can relate to and I enjoy what they stand for, I guess. Then I want to see what they look like, and I'm like, what is that? I'm curious now.
And then they never look like you.
Yeah, and you go, man, like maybe I shouldn't have looked.
It takes away the mystique.
No, I mean, I think you have a cool look, though. I think if people saw that, they're like, yeah, man. And when they see you in public, they pick you out and they go, there he is, man. Look at that guy.
Yeah, I hope not. I don't want to get to that point. I don't want to get to the point where I can't go to
that highly recognizable.
Yeah. So I mean, I was talking to someone that's been in podcasting for 5 years. I was telling you about it, and she had come to the same conclusion as I did. Just to break even. You're not making money, right. Just break even. You need about 10,000 people listening, and that way you can very frugally at least live off of that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to live frugally. I'm just like everyone else. I want to be a billionaire just like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I'm never going to become a billionaire doing this unless the dollar completely inflates, which we can get on that topic. But I do want to get to the point where I can go and just talk to people and make a living and support my family and put my daughters through a good
people
education.
Want to come talk to you all the time. They're calling you going, dude, when can I get on?
I've been surprised at how many people want to talk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm maybe it's just because I'm a private person, it's kind of ironic because I chose to put myself out there, but I'm doing it because I believe in what I'm doing. I think it's actually something that we all need to start doing, and just talking about all these different topics, because there's so much nuance that a meme's not going to cut it. And we can make jokes and have entertainment, and that's fine, but people are getting triggered off of just a simple 2-second clip.
Well, that's what I think. That's what I love about this is I think like people want to hear the truth. And I think maybe the truth is like, man, you're not by yourself. Like, man, we have terrible days. We all feel the same way. It's not what you see on the radio, or it's not what you see on TV all the time. It's not what you hear on the radio. We don't all feel like that. You're not by yourself, man. We're all frustrated too. We're just not choosing to go take it out on this race or this group or these people, But, man, like, talk about your frustrations and hear people, like, talk about it and maybe disagree to an extent. But go, man, like, at the end of the day, I mean, do something better. Don't kill people. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, I love the podcast, and I keep hearing people on it. They want to talk about their story and they want to hear it too, man. I love listening to other people and go, man, like I like that person, And I think that's the great thing about stuff like this, and people want that, so it'll be really successful. It's just gonna have to take that snowball time.
Well, I have this vision in my head where I'm going to have a party with everyone that participated and, early supporters here in like 5 years.
I'll be the least coolest person there.
That is
including your daughter.
That is not true. But, you were talking about going back to, the mental illness side of it. When I was saying know thyself, it kind of finally came back to me. It came back to me. I think knowing yourself is the first step to a mental health. And as I'm doing this, people are a lot more upfront with me about, how they see me. And that's kind of a side effect of this that I didn't expect. They're saying, yeah, you are this, or you are this, or you are this. And it's normally complimentary, saying, yeah, you'd be good at this because of this. And it's something that I I never saw myself that way. And when people tell me things like that, sometimes I agree, sometimes I don't, but sometimes it's oh my gosh, that explains so much. I never saw myself in that light. And now that I do, it clears up this whole enigma that I've had in my head this whole time.
Yeah.
Why do people treat me this way? Oh, it's because you're an asshole, or it's because
you project yourself all the time.
Yeah. And so just talking, period. Does not matter what we are talking about, as long as we're being open and honest and giving a part of ourselves. And that's the hard part, is it's scary to actually open yourself up. I think that's why there's so many celebrities that have depression and commit suicide, is because they put on this persona, and they probably incorrectly feel that people only love them because of that persona instead of who they truly are. I was devastated when Chris Farley died, and apparently he'd been dealing with substance abuse and depression, and I just didn't understand why. Because to me, he was a hero. This guy was on top of the world. Robin Williams, Anthony Bourdain, all these guys, just they're at the top of what you and I, normal folks, we want that life, and we don't understand how they can be unhappy.